Hey everyone, we are back with Jammy HB up against Edward Kim, which could prove quite annoying. As you can see in hand, we have two biotic labourers and a hedge fund, so that's not quite what we want. Fairchild is pretty good. Nice to have the biotics. Ash, I think I'll keep this, and we'll see how we can get on. So, if you haven't been aware of my comings and goings, I was actually away on holidays last week, so hopefully I'm not too rusty. I'm going to put the architect on HQ, because if we can get it to fire, it could be quite nice. It's probably less expected on HQ as well. And of course we're going to Ice Hedge Fund, and I think that's the first time I've ever made that link and actually said in a video. So they're going to run. We are going to put up a Fairchild, and they must pay or trash. And it's also do flat brain damage, which is pretty nice. Assuming they're going to click through the brain. But they'll still have to pay 2 and end their turn, which is okay by us. We'll see what kind of reward they get off it. So we're going to try and draw into an agenda fairly quick, or something that we can install. We're going to try and go fast. That is kind of the purpose of this whole deck. It is Beyoken's deck. And basically it is you get agendas or you get assets and you just slam them into a server and force the runner into a bad situation. And we've already cost them a couple of clicks and a couple of credits for no reward. Eli is pretty good. Could be okay on a scoring server. With Ash behind, could be alright. We'd ideally like something to go with it. So let's draw again. Another Eli, okay. We'll install both, I suppose. Or we can install one, gain a credit, because we want to be able to fire this as well. So I think for the moment we'll just do the slow setup. Next turn we can install Ash. We're not in too much of a hurry. And that'll help us keep the HB tax going. And they're just going to face plant it into everything. In which case we're going to show them an architect and fire the architect. So, top 5 cards. Advanced assembly lines is pretty good. Ichi, wow, there are no agendas here, which is kind of annoying. We would have liked to see something. So we can pop this into this server. And we have nothing in archives. Whoops. Let's fire that into server 1. And do we want to install from hand? Or what do we want to install? Ash or Eli? I suppose we'll go Ash. And we know we're not in any rush with the biotic labour anyway. And of course they hit one. They were pretty much odds on to do so. I'll res this anyway to gain some money. And aside from that, no, it's okay. Unfortunately, we know that we don't have anything to protect anytime soon. Which is a pity. Employee strike. A little annoying because, again, we know nothing is coming anytime soon. But we can rock on and see how we get on. Do we want to install anything? We've drawn 3 of the 5 that we've seen. 3 of the 4 because we installed one. I'm willing to put a magnet up here. That way if Parasite comes down on this, we can try and save it. Now unfortunately we're actually paying for stuff, but it could be worse. Okay, they're going to play safe this time. Katie, and the setup begins. So, second architect. I like the idea of just putting another Eli here. Chances are they're playing paperclip, but it's still expensive enough to go through. It's not quite the agenda we wanted to see really early. Taking out a Dirt Laundry and a Sure Gamble. It's not that exciting. So I think we'll just play for the setup. If we can find ourselves a beta test soon, I'll be much happier. Restructure. I think just credit, and do we install? Just to get a card out of hand more so than anything. Let's go Architect again. At least we'll force them into getting a breaker down. I'd prefer to keep our hand kind of full. Next turn we can just take credits, restructure. Hopefully we can wipe this soon. Maybe that's the best reason to put down a Kronos project. Yeah, they won't need that unless they're going tag me themselves. Also getting rid of Deja Vu. Okay, next turn I am willing to slam the Kronos project. If they get rid of anything overly good, I could even Biotic out. So money is not an issue. Let's go there. Do we need to install any more? 3, 6. Scoring that to be 9, 12. Free run here. Could put down Fairchild just to annoy them a little bit. But money isn't really their concern. Costs us 2, costs them 2. Nah. I think we just credit up and see what they want to do. Perfect. So right now it's still not all that exciting, but Chrysium may be useful. Not entirely sure what their plan is. I mean, they're gearing up for a lot of money. It could be a vamp. And my mouse is having a mind of its own right now. So just score that out. And discard. We'll discard the Chrysium. And we'll see what their plan is. So, nothing all that exciting out. Another employee strike down, fair enough. So this is when we want to draw our beta test and get a Biotic off, which we can't really fire because we're drawing all our ice. Turing's okay. I think we try and draw. If we can't find an agenda soon, or like a Jackson to put here, or Ash, that's okay as well. So we'll this, and then put this onto HQ just to maybe make them think that something is here, or at least tax them just a little bit more. So there's the parasite that we hoped for, and paperclip is here. So obviously they didn't want to get hit by a second Kronos project. Let's draw again. So Eli now isn't a great server. It's okay, but they have a lot of money. So draw first. Getting lots of architects. Put this onto server 1. And Magnet's okay for the moment. Each would be nice here as well. So I think just the one Turing. Or we could get rid of architect, because if they want to run anywhere they kind of have to show us an answer, which presumably will be mimic, because it's always mimic. Now, we really wanted to see a lot more agendas by this time. We have 2 Biotics ready to go. They already trashed 1. We had an Ash. I mean, we were perfectly positioned to just start speedballing out things. And there's our beta test. So, they can't get anything here. So let's do it. Biotic, beta test in server 1, and advance it out. And we will not. I'm curious as to what they're going to do with 24 credits on Katie. Maybe they have a plan? We could purge if we wanted to. Or we can just start putting Jackson down. Getting some useful things. Yeah, I think we just use this as a rebuilding. Yeah. This is going to go, unfortunately. But Magnet's a pretty good piece of ice still. Wild side. And still taking money. So beta test. NAPD. Well, we can stick it down here. They have all the money in the world to take it, though. Let's try and draw into something a little more interesting. That's okay as well. So we'll put that in a new remote. And I'm okay with throwing the NAPD away. Or am I? So the Turing at the moment stops them. So actually, let's just slam it and see. Let's go with Biotic, Hedge, and we're not going to outtrace them. So let's go with more money. So, taking all the money. Grimoire Data Sucker. Okay. So we still have this sitting here. In fact, we have 2 of them now. So we can res this one for 2 credits, and we can just biotic out the NAPD, because, yeah, they're not really challenging us. Not quite how I want to score it, but at least it gets it scored. And then they surely have to run things. Let's push Ichi onto R&D. Yeah, let's make them click through. So we have to trash 1 and do a trace. That's worked out pretty well for us. I don't think they expected Ichi to just arrive, but that's why you give people a moment online when they have resed assembly lines up and running. And we'll let them in for 1 look. Hopefully not an agenda. Well, fair enough, but that's probably when we weren't scoring anyway. So let's pop this into server 1. And I think we just res it for money. And then hedge fund. And you can never have too much money. So our servers are pretty well protected. It's only R&D that we're a little nervous about. But even at that, we may have taken out their main form of pressure. Now, this server becomes a bit weaker with David and Paperclip. But that's kind of funny as well. So, let's draw. Lateral growth is pretty good. We can do that right now, really, for the Cybrex onto R&D. So we'll draw 1 more. We're really just trying to find the last agenda. Deja Vu, Parasite and Medium. And they got Yogg. Okay, so their pieces are coming together. Magnet, unfortunately, is taken care of. And Ichi could go soon, but if they run, we can hit Cyberdex first. There's a beta test. So, do we go for it, or do we just try and draw into something a bit better? $19 credits, they can definitely get through here. David, and 6. So we'll draw. Toll booth works out pretty well. We know they want to put down a medium. So let's put that on R&D. And probably should have done this to reduce the cost a little bit. Is there an opening? Well, now that David is gone, yes. So that is costly for them. Mm, yeah, so that is almost game ending. Let's go with medium. Let's go with Yogg. And let's trace. Now, they do have pretty good chances of actually hitting something. Okay, I think it's time to just slam this in here. Turing is pretty good, so didn't use that for value really, but it could be worse for us. And wildside means that they can't get through the Turing, which is pretty great. And if they have David, we will go with the double Eli play instead. Gordian is pretty good. So Gordian gets through this for 4. I'd nearly prefer to go Eli. Costs them a fair bit, costs us a fair bit. Or we could go with both of these. That's back the same amount. Either way. I think Eli might be the better play. And we can jam the other beta test next turn if we want to. So next turn they will have 7 credits available. So in theory they can get through all the way here. We could put this down bringing us to 2 and click for credits, which enables us to put up the Turing, which might be the way to go. We could of course play Jackson as well, but I kind of like the bold and brave. Sometimes fortune favours the brave, and maybe they think that we don't have 2 agendas in a row. But then again, they haven't pressurized all that much to be able to rule that out. So maybe this was a terrible call. Let's put them off. Okay. So let's install Jackson into a new remote and click for 2. So hopefully we can either distract them or... yeah, distraction is pretty much the aim of the game at the moment. Economy-wise, we're in the better spot, because this is a pretty expensive server to come through, either clicks or credits-wise. And maybe, like what happened to me in UK Nationals, they'll feel they have to check both, because if it's 3-2, 3-2, unless they check both, we win, and they can't really afford to get both. Unless they're playing Stimhack, which is still a good card. The Laundry. This is fairly brave. How worth it is it? We won't be able to... This brings them up to 7. Thinking about it, it would ruin their economy. Yeah, I think we do it. Because they can spend a lot of clicks to go through. Or pay 2 and not be able to break Architect. I'm not sure. This is probably the call that could lose us the game. Because yeah, they'll spend 2 clicks, they'll make all their money, and they'll get Katie, which means they're in a better position to go here next turn. Maybe. So they'll be at 5 and get Katie. Okay, well at least they've seen NAPD. It might make them more tempted by HQ. Bet they wish Detton's run at the film critic now. If only we'd 1 more credit. So if they snap this up, then the res here is definitely the mistake that cost us the game. With 2 data circuit counters, this becomes a more affordable server. You can make this 4, for example. This is still expensive, but they have the KD. Okay, now I'm feeling better. I thought they'd go for it, but apparently not. So So let's just round this out then. So there you have it. Probably not as smooth as it should have been. The res on HQ is one I will have to think about a bit. And definitely give me your feedback. As always, try to keep it constructive. I think had we drawn agendas earlier in the game, we would have been in a very strong position. It left us a bit of time. They had so much money on Katie Jones, but we were kind of lucky in that we got the Cyberdex res, got a couple of good hits on like trashes with Ichi. Architect Fire was nice, even though it basically just showed us that we weren't going to score anytime soon. But yeah, I really like this deck. It's a good bit of fun. It doesn't make as much money as I'd like. I think there's HB decks that operate better on less money. Or of course you have the Near Earth Hub, which uses some of these tools, some of the HB tools that is, to good effect with low money, and still really fast. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.